The play takes place in Scotland. Duncan, the King of Scotland, is at war with the King of Norway. Scottish General Macbeth's bravery helps him to win over the Norwegians. As Macbeth and Banquo, another Scottish general, return home from battle, they meet three witches. The witches predict that Macbeth will be the Thane of Cawdor and the King of Scotland, and that Banquo would be the father of kings. After the witches disappear, Macbeth and Banquo meet two noblemen of Scotland. They announce Macbeth's new title as Thane of Cawdor. Upon hearing this, Macbeth begins to contemplate the realization of the witches' second prophecy. Banquo is not very much moved by the prophecies though. Macbeth and Banquo meet Duncan, who announces that he is going to pay Macbeth a visit at his castle. Macbeth rides ahead to prepare his household. Lady Macbeth, Macbeth's wife, receives a letter from Macbeth informing her of the witch's prophecy and its subsequent realization. A servant appears to inform her of Duncan's approach. Lady Macbeth is a very ambitious woman. Energized by the news, Lady Macbeth invokes supernatural powers to strip her of feminine softness and thus prepare her for the murder of Duncan. When Macbeth arrives, Lady Macbeth tells him that she will plot Duncan's murder. When Duncan arrives at the castle, Lady Macbeth greets him alone. When Macbeth fails to appear, Lady Macbeth finds him in his room. Lady Macbeth does her very best to inspire Macbeth to kill Duncan. Macbeth finds enough reason against the murder. Macbeth states that Duncan is an innocent person and a benevolent king. Macbeth's reputation is a result of Duncan's faith in him. Moreover, Duncan is a guest in their castle. No reason is reason enough to kill Duncan, opines Macbeth. But Lady Macbeth is too ambitious to be convinced by such issues. She affirms her plan of the murder. They will kill him while his drunken bodyguards sleep, then plant incriminating evidence on the bodyguards. Macbeth sees a vision of a bloody dagger floating before him, leading him to Duncan's room. Finally, overcoming his fear and resistance, Macbeth kills the king with one stroke of the dagger. Immediately thereafter, Macduff discovers Duncan's dead body. Macbeth kills the two bodyguards, claiming that he was overcome with a fit of grief and rage when he saw them with the bloody dagger. Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, fear that their lives may be in danger. They flee to England and Ireland. Macbeth is thus crowned the King of Scotland. Macbeth now attempts to thwart the witch's prophecy that Banquo will father kings. Macbeth hires murderers to kill Banquo and his son Fleance. They kill Banquo, but Fleance manages to escape. Banquo's ghost appears to Macbeth in the banquet and sends him into a frenzy of terror. Lady Macbeth attempts to cover up for his odd behavior, but the banquet comes to a premature end. The guests are surprised by the strange behavior of Macbeth. Macbeth decides that he must revisit the witches to look into the future once more. Meanwhile, Macbeth's thanes begin to turn against him. Macduff, the Thane of Fife, meets Malcolm in England to prepare an army to march on Scotland. The first warns him against Macduff. The second tells him to fear no man naturally born of a woman's womb. The third witch says that he will fall only when Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane Castle. Macbeth takes this as a prophecy that he is infallible. He asks the witches if their prophecy about Banquo will come true. The witches show him a procession of 8 kings depicting the figure of Banquo. They are smeared with blood and they smile at Macbeth. Macduff and Malcolm make strategies for their war against Macbeth. Back in Scotland, Macbeth kills Macduff's wife and children. Lady Macbeth suffers from somnambulism, the habit of sleepwalking. She reveals that she cannot wash the bloodstains from her hands. She ultimately commits suicide. Macbeth is left alone to face everything. Taking the witch's second prophecy in good faith, Macbeth still believes that he is impregnable to the approaching army. But Malcolm has instructed each man in the army to carry a tree branch from Birnam Wood and hold it up to disguise themselves. As a result, Macbeth's servant reports that he has seen a seemingly impossible sight. Birnam Wood seems to be moving towards the castle. In battle, Macbeth kills everyone who challenges him. At last, he faces Macduff. As they fight, Macduff reveals that he was not of woman born and was untimely taken out from his mother's womb. Macbeth is stunned to hear that. Finally, Macduff kills Macbeth, severes his head and presents it to Malcolm. At the end of the play, Malcolm becomes the new king of Scotland.